Thank you for joining us for Chatting in the Void, a conversational podcast hosted by Cthulhu, Tilly, and Hallik. Okay.
I think we're all set up on this very professional.
I think we're ready.
What's the word I'm looking for?
High quality professional podcast.
Yeah.
Expertly produced.
High production quality podcast.
A high production quality podcast right here.
We can throw you in Index. You just gotta get a VTuber model.
Yeah. Maybe next Saturday when Hallik is busy, we'll do a guest episode since we're doing a short episode of the podcast today.
Yeah, today we're only trying to keep it to 1 hour.
We're gonna try.
We're gonna attempt.
Yeah, we're gonna put effort into making it only 1 hour.
Yeah, effort. Sure. Oh,
effort. Hey, I put an effort.
I don't. I just.
You're lazy. I'm just kidding.
It's okay, Index. I'm just messing around. You don't need a VTuber model. We can add you.
You don't need a VTuber. We'll figure something out. Either just like a piece of artwork or something like that. I don't know. We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
We
can talk about it this week.
On my screen just for him.
Yeah. Okay.
Alrighty. Are you ready to start? Although technically we've been started.
I'm already started. I'm recording. I've been recording for a while. But yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So what's been going on in your life today? This week?
I play a shit ton of Genshin, but it was not this time. I promise you, it wasn't the only thing I did this week.
I'm proud of you for doing something else with your life.
Yeah. Thanks. Hey, hi, Belk. Stop being cringe. Stop typing null caps. Anyways, so fun fact. The day after last week's podcast, I had to rush Lady Coco to the emergency room.
Right.
Yeah. So for those who actually follow my stream, I had to cancel a couple streams because I was just so stressed from having to rush Lady Coco to the ER.
Yeah.
The pet ER. So what happened is that on Sunday, I was noticing that Coco was not being herself. She wasn't coming out of her hidey hole. She wasn't, she wasn't taking her pellets. And I was like, okay, something might be a little off. But I didn't thought too much of it. Maybe she's too tired. Maybe she's taking a nap and I didn't notice or something like that. That was like in the afternoon. Then on the evening, I had realized that Lady Coco still was hiding in her hidey hole. 1, 2, still refused her pellets, and 3, she had not pooped at all. All right.
Oh no.
So big red flag. And okay, and I'm like making sure I'm double checking everything, making sure that she's not just overreacting or something. So I brought her favorite treat of all time. I brought her green apples, and she refused the green apples.
Right.
And then she stepped out for a moment, but she couldn't move very much, and she was hunched over. That's when I'm like, okay, no, this is a problem. We have to rush her to the ER because she basically has all the symptoms of this thing called GI stasis. All right. Yeah. So for the people that don't own rabbits, GI stasis is the number one thing that actually kills rabbits. And what happens is rabbits have to constantly eat. They're kind of like cows in a sense, where they don't have muscles in their digestive system that pushes food forwards through the system. Instead, what they do is they just keep eating, and the food that they've ingested is pushing the food that is already being digested. So their entire digestive system works on the fact that they have to constantly eat. So if a rabbit stops eating, it's because she's sick. Something happened in her digestive system, and it's hurting her, and she's in pain. And because she's a prey animal, prey animals, when they get sick, they hide it. They don't show it.
Yeah.
Because for them, that's like a survival kind of thing. No, you can't show that you're weak to a predator or you're going to get eaten. So that's what makes it really, really difficult. And it's really, really easy to miss when your rabbit is acting up. But thankfully, I caught everything on time. We rushed her to the ER. I talked to the vet and explained the situation. And she's like, yeah, no, she's going through GI stasis right now. And thankfully, she's stable. She says she's stable, and there's stuff we can do. So she medicated her. They gave her some pain meds, and gave me a bunch of medicines to give for her. I forget exactly what they gave me, but one is an anti-inflammatory medicine. They gave me critical care because I told her that I did have critical care, but it's probably already expired because it's been more than 2 years. How old is Coco? Coco is 2 years old. Yeah, 2 years old-ish. Another thing that makes them sick is watching Boss Baby 2. Listen, I wish I could put a little screen. I've been thinking about putting a little television on my wall so that Coco can watch. But anyways, so I didn't sleep. I didn't go to bed until 4 a.m. Monday because the doctors, the vet was like, okay, you have to feed her as soon as you get home. You get home, feed her. Like, okay. And obviously they can't do it because there's other animals that they need to be treating. There's other things that they need to be doing. So once they realized that the rabbit wasn't going to die on their hands, they gave her back to me and we rushed her home. Oh my God. I had to fight with this rat. Yeah, that's you, Coco. You're a little rat. I had to fight with her for 2-3 hours to force her to eat her medicine. So,
oh my gosh.
See, and it was very stressful. It was very stressful because I was thinking, what could have caused this? And then I realized it's probably stress because I had a bunch of people over. There was a party over the weekend. Everybody's being loud. People were coming in and out of my room. And there was a lot of noise going on. So that's probably why she got really stressed. And that's probably what made her GI stasis happen. So I was very troubled because I'm stressing her even more. I put her in the kitchen counter because I need a tall counter to put her in where she can't run away, right? And then I made like a little set of walls with like whatever things that I could find around the living room, and had like basically just a little square on the kitchen counter. And I had to like force feed her. I had to force feed her the medicine. I had to force feed her the critical care, and that shit took me straight up 3 hours. I was exhausted. I was stressed, and I couldn't even. And I wasn't even sure if I should just keep going or if I should stop trying to stress her so much. Well, what ended up happening is I gave her all her meds, and I was halfway through the critical care, and I'm like, no, I'm just gonna let her rest, and I need to rest too. So I fucking brought her back to the room and passed out, and I didn't wake up until like afternoon, like a couple hours before the stream. And I'm like, okay, no, I can't stream. So I canceled the stream, and I was like, all right, cool. I just woke up. The first thing I needed to do, go and bring her back into the counter, because again, she hates being held. So I had to make like a little castle of furniture in my room to prevent her from running away. Physically catch her, because she was running all over the place, avoiding me. She doesn't want to get grabbed. And then when I did grab her, I had to bring her to the counter, and she fought me again for the medicine. So it was a very stressful tragedy that week. But she made a full recovery, and she's back to her formal self.
That's good. Yes, it's good. The irony is that I was actually climbing last night, right? And I made a friend with a couple people that made a couple of friends, 2 people that I was climbing with that I did a couple of routes with, and they were literally talking about feeding rabbits and stuff. So like, it's funny because interacting with you and learning about how to take care of rabbits helped me engage with a conversation between 2 strangers about rabbits, even though I know literally nothing because I've never owned a rabbit myself. we've always we took care of a rabbit for like a couple of days, but that was pretty much it. And it was a jackrabbit that we'd caught that was a baby that we were just nursing back to health so it could get back into the wild. It was like a teenager, I guess, not a baby, but yeah, it was really funny. But yeah, that's crazy stressful. I'm glad that Lady Coco made a full recovery and is all better. Look at her there. So adorable. Also, hi Jet. I know you're watching. I got a text message telling me that you said hi. I actually saw you said hi, but we were already mid-conversation, so I figured I would take now to say hello.
I was trying to figure out the whole microphone not working ordeal. What a fiasco this day has been for the podcast.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad that you're doing all right and that Coco is doing all right, and hopefully it won't be so stressful.
Oh my god. It was Wednesday. So 2 days after her whole fighting, like I used all the medicine, all the prescription was done because it was 2 days worth of medicine. And on Wednesday night, she hopped right over where she was standing, and then she flopped into the floor. And I was so relieved. Like, so relieved.
Right.
Because rabbits only lay down with their belly exposed when they're comfortable and when they feel safe.
Yeah.
So that's when I knew, okay,
she's
no longer in pain. She doesn't need her pain meds anymore. I'm not gonna go with the last day of the pain meds because she clearly doesn't need it anymore.
Right.
And she's made a full recovery ever since.
Good. I'm glad. Good for Lady Coco. Such an adorable little bunny.
Oh, we have a question here in chat. Head. We have a little question here in chat. What is your least favorite animal, Thule?
My least favorite animal? Ooh, that's a hard one. I like most animals, so I don't like... I mean, I'm the kind of person that even, like, empathizes and emotionally connects to, like, fucking spiders. So it's pretty hard. Honestly, and a lot of people are probably going to get up in arms about this one, I don't like cows. Now, really? I don't like cows. The reason why I don't like cows is because I've almost been killed by a cow twice.
I have a
so it's not really it's not really a cows are ugly. It's I would much rather face an angry dog than an angry cow, because I know how to deal with an angry dog, but an angry cow is just an unstoppable monster that wants to run you down.
Yeah.
And so a cow almost, and this is the funny story, I was at 4-H and a cow almost broke my pelvis because somebody was not somebody did not properly train their cow. And so I was holding it for them on its way because it had just been sold, and I was just kind of helping out. And it rammed me against a wall. Yeah. And I was bruised across my entire hips and ass for like 4 days. Angry pigs, no, I can deal with an angry pig too. I know how to deal with pigs. I know how to deal with goats. I know how to deal with sheep. I know how to deal with dogs. But pigs, no. An angry horses don't really get angry generally. But I feel more equipped to deal with an angry horse as well because I have more experience with angry horses.
Now, for me, it is the horse.
Technically friends.
Horse is the least favorite animal for me.
Okay.
Absolutely. Because I also once got killed by a horse. It almost ran me over once.
Yeah.
As an 11-year-old.
Yeah.
And I'm like, nope. Ever since then, nope. Horses, I ain't touching that shit with a stick.
Yeah. I've been bucked off of horses quite a few times.
Ooh, yeah. But that's what I'm afraid of.
One has never like tried to run me down or anything like that. Just bucked me off and then tried to fucking run away. I got bucked off a horse into a patch of prickly pear cactus, which was incredibly wonderful. And I had to walk home because the horse fucking ran off afterwards and ran back home. So I had to walk home with an ass and back full of full of cactus spines and go spend several hours plucking them out of myself. I'm sure I still have scars because they were very painful. But yeah, no, Jet, you're a friend. Yeah. Least and favorite dog breeds? That's an interesting question.
I hate
yours.
The French bulldogs. I hate the French bulldogs, not because I think that they look bad, not because of their personalities. No, I don't care about any of that. It's the fact that they've basically been bred into like an abomination, basically, of what a dog should be. Right. Like they can't even reproduce themselves because they've been bred into a body type that doesn't even let them function as living organisms. So
right,
that's what I like. I'm against that shit. That's my least favorite. Whenever I see a French bulldog and then I hear that they went to a breeder to get this French bulldog, I lose faith in humanity.
Yeah,
Lady Coco.
I really dislike Chihuahuas. They're really annoying to me. They bother me a lot.
I've met some really chill Chihuahuas. I think it has to do with the owner more than the breed itself. But that's the problem. Is that the type of owners that get Chihuahuas are the people that don't know how to take care of them.
Yeah, that is correct. Favorite dog breed?
Which one is it? Hello?
Personally, for me, I adore Australian Shepherds.
Okay.
They are my favorite dog breed of all time. They're adorable and friendly and just, they're everything.
I like them. Most favorite dog breed, it has to be Rottweiler. I love those dogs.
Rottweiler?
Yeah, I love them.
They're awesome.
I love a big old fucking Rottweiler. Oh, I could play with that shit. With those dogs all day.
When I was maybe 9 years old, my brothers worked for a horse boarding facility. One of them actually. My oldest brother worked for a horse boarding facility, and the owner of the horse boarding facility had this huge Rottweiler. It must have been like, I don't know if it was purebred. It might have been like Rottweiler St. Bernard mix, because it was, it was big enough that literally I could ride it around like, one of those like monkeys on a dog.
That's what I want.
It was awesome. I loved that dog. He was great. He was super friendly. And the craziest part about it is he was actually an ex-police dog.
Oh, okay.
So not only was he super friendly, he also knew commands to like attack and stuff like that.
Oh my
and
God.
He would like play with the owner and like grab onto the owner's sleeve, and the owner could just like pick up and swing him around because his jaw was so strong. Crazy animals. Rottweilers are gorgeous. That dog must have weighed 150 pounds. It's probably 3 times my size.
Excellent. I'm getting excited just listening about this Rottweiler. Love those dogs.
Yeah, it's fucking gorgeous Rottweiler. Yeah, and I feel like pit bulls get a bad rap in the States, but they're usually pretty friendly as long as they're well trained. And just like, I don't know. I have strong opinions on training dogs because I've dealt with too many people who have no idea what they're doing and end up with really bad behaved dogs and really aggressive dogs just because they don't know what they're doing. And
I'm from South America. Yeah. And I spent all my childhood in South America, and I can tell you right now, nobody down there knows how to properly take care of a dog. They just grab one from the streets or from a family, and they just keep him, man. Nobody takes them out for walks.
Right.
Nobody worries about their poop. Nobody worries about playing with them. They just have them right there in the backyard. And there's a lot of shit down there that happens that you would go to jail for in the States, but nobody cares over there.
Yeah.
So like, I don't know, man. I wish like
Index has heard me rant on one of my least favorite things are people who treat dogs as house plants.
Yeah.
Just like, oh, cute dog to have around in the home. Like, no. It always makes me super uncomfortable because I'm like, oh, that dog is just that is a dog that is waiting to snap.
Yeah.
That's what's gonna happen. Just bothers me. But yeah. Anyways,
okay. Let's talk about a less depressing topic. All right, Tully, do you play any cool new games this past 2 weeks?
I played Elden Ring, which
right.
was super fun, and I killed the shit out of a bunch of giants with a club.
Okay.
Because I don't know what I'm doing or where I'm going yet, even though I've watched a bunch of lore videos, because I don't pay attention to like the world. I just pay attention to the story. And so I'm still kind of just wandering around. But yeah, I chose Wretch, which is the hardest starting class, because I'm an experienced person at these types of games. And so I've killed a bunch of the storm giants, like 4 or 5 of them with just the club at like level 3.
Nice.
It's a good time. And then I finally got, I killed like a couple, and then I finally got back to the Grace. So I have to like level up now. And I was looking at it and I was like, I don't know what to do yet. And then I looked at the clock and it was like 2 a.m. and I was like, I need to get off. So
yep. That's a good old video.
I got off. Yeah. But I'm looking forward to playing more. It's really cool so far. I like the world. I like the kind of like characters so far, and we'll see. I have a couple of friends who are pretty far into it. I know 2 people who have already completed all achievements on the game.
Oh my God.
And I'm like, overachievers. I'm probably not going to do that for Elden Ring. I don't have the time anymore. Maybe if I were still 18 and obsessed with FromSoft, I probably would. But nowadays, I'm more interested in doing other things. But yeah, I also I played some Borderlands 3 with a couple of buddies.
What made you play?
Super fun game. I never played it.
You've never played Borderlands 3?
I played Borderlands 1 and 2 with the same group of people.
Okay.
And then Borderlands 3 came out, and I had plans to play Borderlands 3 with one of my exes, and then got dumped, so that never happened.
All right, classic.
And then
love it.
The people who I played Borderlands 1 and 2 with, we were all too busy after that to ever facilitate playing Borderlands 3, so we just never did. And so now we're all like going back and we're like, I want to play Borderlands 3. So we're all playing Borderlands 3. It's actually, I think, still the plan for me right after we're done here is to go play Borderlands 3.
So fun fact.
Yeah, so that was my plans tonight.
When Borderlands 2 came out, I tried it for a little bit. I didn't like it. I returned the game. I went back to Steam and returned the game. And the one thing that threw me off about Borderlands was the guns. The guns just... they felt like water guns, man. You know?
Yeah.
And I know I get it because that's not the appeal. But to me, like how a gun feels, the catharsis of using a gun is the number one thing. So if the first gun that the game gives me is a little fucking water shooter, and this... and I get it because it's like low level weapons, sure. But if it's not even satisfying to shoot the damn thing, I'm like, no.
Yeah,
I am not gonna put myself through this shit just to eventually get to the okay weapons later down the line. But
I actually enjoyed the pre-sequel, but yeah, no, I really enjoyed Borderlands 1 and 2. But like I said, so the main reason why I play them is because I'm playing with them friends. And what I have to say is, Borderlands is not as fun solo like most games, obviously, but it is definitely balanced to be like a multiplayer game where you're supposed to form a vault hunting crew where it's like you have one person in each class. And so I have a group of 3 friends who we've been friends since like high school.
Hold on.
And we played Borderlands 1.
I will have to say, something that really irks me is when they say, oh, this game is fun when you play with friends. Like, that's not a defense for a game, man. That's not a defense for a game.
I agree.
Anything is fun with friends. Putting fucking shit on a bag and then setting the bag on fire, that's fun as long as you're doing it with friends, all right? So
and that is true.
Doing shit with friends is not a defense for a game.
I agree.
Not being entertaining. So that was my problem with Borderlands too. No, hold on.
Yeah.
It's just like
I agree.
It's just like that's the thing that happened to me when I was playing Borderlands 2, and I thought, I don't want to play this game. This man's shit. Look at this weapon. This weapon sucks. These are not fun. I pick up another weapon. It doesn't do anything. It's not satisfying. I was like, I'm out. But my friend was like, no, man, it's fun with friends. And I'm like, what? No, go away. So,
what I will say about it is it definitely doesn't have a very good starting, but the weapons that you get later on, like you have to remember, it's not like it's not like any other shooter I've ever played. Because most shooters, like even Destiny, which has one of the biggest like oh, we have a bunch of guns mechanics where it's like there are a ton of guns in it. Borderlands games fucking destroy Destiny in terms of just the sheer amount of guns there are and amount of mechanics that are built into those guns. Because like Borderlands has something like, I think the first game, Borderlands 1, has something like 500 or 600 different guns. It's crazy. So you also, like, part of the game is finding what guns you like and finding what guns you're interested in using and all sorts of stuff like that. Yeah. And so, yeah, it's an interesting game. I definitely feel like it's more fun with friends. I personally enjoyed, after I played Borderlands 1 with the group, I played a solo playthrough. I didn't do a solo playthrough with Borderlands 2. I did do a solo playthrough with the pre-sequel.
Okay.
And I enjoyed the games solo, but also I already knew what I was doing. So it's one of those games where it's like, you kind of got to know the game to enjoy it, to be honest. And it's kind of, I will say though,
when it came time for Borderlands 3, everybody was in the hype train, right? Everybody was hyping the hype train. But I had that bad experience from Borderlands 2, and I was watching some videos and like, the gameplay doesn't even look that different. I dropped it. I didn't get it in the bandwagon of Borderlands 3. But last year I did play Borderlands 3 for the first time, and I will say I finished the whole game solo. That one was fun. Well, the guns were better in my opinion than in Borderlands 2, absolutely. But the thing that really got me was like the world and just the crazy fucking bullshit that happens all over the place. That's what kind of got me.
Well, you should try to play Borderlands 1 and 2 at some point, because it's the same world. It's Pandora. It's the same exact world, and they really didn't change a whole lot about the world, to be honest, in them either. Or the guns. The guns aren't really all that different. I feel like maybe they're a little weaker in Borderlands 2, but not really, especially not late game after you get past the first couple of levels. So, but
I think what it boiled down to for me was the introductions, the early game of each game.
Yeah.
That's the big difference. That's what let me like get past that bar of not too much. Oh my god, Coco's so cute. That bar of like these guns are not very satisfying kind of thing. It was because Borderlands 3 had a better introduction to the game than Borderlands 2, man. Yeah, for sure. Like
Borderlands 2 is super annoying though.
No, I
just gonna throw that out there.
I will say though,
this is a controversial opinion I have. I hate him.
No, a lot of people share your opinion.
I hate Claptrap.
But the thing is, for me, Claptrap, I could bear it because I hadn't played Borderlands 2, so I never experienced the first Claptrap, right? And
right.
So for me, Borderlands 3 Claptrap was the first Claptrap, and it was okay for me. I dealt with it.
I even if I started Claptrap at Borderlands 3, I'd still want to shoot him in the face. I just literally every time I see Claptrap, my friends know this. Every time I see Claptrap in the game, I unload my full clip into it. I don't even care. I get so mad. I just look at him and his little smug piece of shit face, and I just want to shoot him. It's really annoying to me. I don't know why. There's just something about him that grades on my soul, man. It's the worst. But back to what you were saying about the introduction to games. I, ironically enough, have the same problem with Monster Hunter.
Oh, really?
I hate the Monster Hunter games. I cannot play them. Every single time I played them, I play the intro and I'm like, okay, I just have played this game, and like this is how I felt with Monster Hunter. I think it was World or whatever, the PC one that got really big. I was like, all right, because a bunch of my friends play it. So I was like, all right, I will play this game with you, right? And so I start playing and I go through the intro, and the intro takes like a fucking hour.
Oh my god.
Right?
Okay.
And then I get through the intro and I'm like, and I'm an hour into the game. I don't know how to play the game. You've taught me nothing about how to play the game. Now I have to go through a whole other intro just to learn how to play the game. It's like, I've already been here for an hour. I should have mechanics that I know what to do.
They should have already presented you the fun, right? What is the fun?
They should have already presented me the gameplay loop.
Yeah.
And then it's like I get into the actual playing the game, and I'm like wandering around, and I finally find the monster I'm supposed to kill, and I finally kill it, whatever. And then I'm like, oh, great. It took me like 45 minutes to kill the first thing. And they're like, what? And I was like, yeah. And then they were like, well, yeah, you have to like press this button to track the monster, so you don't have to just like wander around. And I'm like, what? The game never told me that. And they were like, oh. And I was like, yeah. And they were like, what do you mean the game never told you that? And I'm like, the game never told me to press X or whatever it was to track the monster. It never told me that there was this whole other UI. How did you know that? And they were like, well, I guess we've played the Monster Hunter games previously, so we all know that. And I'm like, that's the worst. That's the worst. I should not, the game should teach me how to play the game.
Yeah.
I shouldn't have to look up my keybinds to learn how to play the game. It's just like, ugh, it felt so bad. And then of course I'm playing with people, and it's kind of like playing Minecraft, where like you're joining a server where they've already like gotten into the nether and to the end. Okay. And you're like joining later, and they're like, here, just have fully enchanted diamond armor and everything. And you're like, yeah, but I don't know what to do with all of this because I don't know yet. Yeah. And it's just like, yeah. Yeah. So playing with people who already knew what to do was also really hard in that game, because it was like every single time I jump into a game with them, I'm being carried and I'm not doing anything valuable because everything's way over leveled. And yeah, I don't know. It felt really bad to me personally. I don't like the Monster Hunter games. I also think their gameplay loop is super boring, because it's like you chase a monster down, you fight a monster for a bit, and then the monster runs away, and then you chase the monster down, and then you fight a monster for a bit, and then the monster runs away. And like the whole thing is like, well, you're supposed to like attack the tail and damage the tail. And I'm like, okay, but what do you like? So there's the damage spots. Yeah, well, when you kill the tail, it can't do this anymore. Great. Why can't I just kill the monster? I don't want to have to like go through different phases and chase it back down again and trace it again and figure out where it is again and then go through the whole fight again. It's just stressful and annoying to me. And takes forever. Yeah, it's like a 45-minute gameplay loop for one match.
That's what I didn't get either. It's like, to me, Monster Hunter looks like you're fighting a boss, basically. It's just, the whole thing is you fight monsters that are technically bosses. Yeah. But I'm watching streams of people fighting these bosses, and like some of these fights, bro, they take like forever. They take like half an hour. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And I'm like,
yeah, it's like,
how could people put themselves through this shit?
Yeah,
I remember.
It's like a WoW raid boss. Yeah, that's what I was. It doesn't drop anything good.
That's exactly
that was like the biggest. Yeah.
Listen,
it's like a World of Warcraft raid boss. Only instead of dropping a possibly good item, it drops some items that you might need to craft something. And the worst part about it is you're gonna have to fight the monster a dozen times to get the ingredients that you need to craft what you want to craft.
Listen, I played World of Warcraft, obviously, and then I did heroic raiding back when, heroic raiding was the highest tier of raiding. Now they call it mythic or whatever the fuck. Like, listen, I was the top tier of raiding back in the day, and I know how like exhausting it is. The number one fight, one of the longest fights that I remember doing was the Ragnaros fight in heroic in Firelands. That shit takes 15 minutes, all right? That fight takes 15 minutes from start to finish. It is one of the longest encounters of a WoW raid at the time. 15 minutes. And when you're playing, when you're in the raid, and when you're trying to DPS, you're trying to min-match, you're like all over the fucking place. And you're dodging, you're doing mechanics, you're going there, you're dealing with this, doing that, maintaining optimal rotation, blah, 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 managing internal cooldowns, etc. You're doing all this shit. When you're doing that stuff, 15 minutes feels like a goddamn hour. So when I'm like, watching people play Monster Hunter, and they're like, fighting this shit for like 45 minutes, 30 minutes to 45 minutes, I'm like, how do you know, A, how do you not get exhausted? B, how do you not get bored? And C, like, why are you still doing this? You have to do it again? Like, they beat it. I was like, all right, let's do it again. I'm like, what? Are you? What? How's this fun? Dude, 45 minutes?
Yeah.
You know what you could have been doing in 45 minutes? Oh my god, you could have been having so much more fun than that. Like, I don't get the appeal of Monster Hunter.
Yeah.
I really don't.
I don't. I have a couple of close friends who are really into it, and they, you know, I understand to some level like what they're about and what they like about the game, but I just can't harness it myself. It's just not interesting to me. And so yeah, I stopped playing Monster Hunter. I feel like the interesting and weird part about it is it has a similar gameplay loop to Dark Souls in the essence of like you're fighting something over and over.
Yeah.
But what's interesting to me is I feel like Dark Souls, to me, the reason why I kept in the game of Dark Souls and kept playing it is because even though it has that gameplay loop of fighting the same boss over and over again, every time you fight the boss, it feels like you're making progress.
The progress
all
is
right,
more
I could dodge. Yeah, I could dodge that ability more often. I saw that coming. I learned more of its moveset. I got it to 50% health and saw phase 2. Phase 2 destroyed my ass. Now I have to learn how to fight phase 1 so that I can get to phase 2. So just like, it's interesting. I feel like it had a much more...
Hold on. But that's not even the thing. It also goes back to what you said. With Monster Hunter, you beat a boss and then you get a bunch of materials and that's it. But no, in Dark Souls, it's different because it's a single player game. So like you beat the boss. Not only did you beat the boss, and you can argue, oh yeah, I got better at the boss. Whatever, nobody cares about that. I'm joking.
Right.
It's like, okay, you beat the boss. Now there's this huge area open to you to explore. 1, 2, you literally get a weapon because every boss has a soul that transforms into one of 2 weapons in most Dark Souls games. And you get a shit ton of materials to level up. So like when you beat a boss in Dark Souls, you feel you feel it that you got stuff out of it. Like you have my camera died. You have a more sensible sense of a more tangible sense of progression than I got a fifth of the materials for a weapon that I may or may not use. You know.
Yeah, and some of the boss fights in Monster Hunter are just as hard as Dark Souls. So I don't know.
Yeah, but Dark Souls fights don't take 30 minutes. They at most they take 10 to 15 minutes, you know. And there's some fights that you can just beat in like 1 or 2 minutes. If you're good and you have a good setup, you can just go in, bap, 10 seconds later the boss is dead. Like whatever.
Yeah. For sure. Yeah. Yeah, and I mean there are fights that have gimmicks too, like the giant in Dark Souls 3, where it's like you get the sword. If you just wander around the room and open up the chests in the room, you get the sword that's gonna like basically 3-shot the boss.
Yeah, I know which one you're talking about.
So it's the Stormcaller or whatever. I can't remember what it's called right now. But yeah, I definitely I definitely think that Dark Souls has a more interesting gameplay loop in that way.
Oh, absolutely.
But yeah, I could never get on board with Monster Hunter. I played like, what is that game? There was an Epic game that was like made by Epic actually. I'm trying to pull it up right now.
Don't hurt yourself.
And it was like Monster Hunter, but like Fortnite-esque like art style.
Okay.
And like way less, I don't know, grindy. It felt a lot more tangible. Progression felt a lot better. And it also had like more weapon options and more interesting weapon options. And also like the other thing that I discovered this like after 2 hours of gameplay, that in Monster Hunter, what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to like grab a weapon and go to like the training area and learn how to use the weapon. But like the game didn't tell you like grab your weapon and go to the training room to get a tutorial on your weapon. It never told me that. It just felt like a really poorly designed mechanic. Like they were expecting you to just like wander around and discover.
Yeah.
And and not have to guide you to where you needed to be. That's what it felt like to me. But yeah, felt like a much more satisfying loop. Very, very interesting idea of like meshing different art styles and games together. But yeah.
I don't know, man.
Anyways,
I don't think
pretty much all I have to say on Monster Hunter.
Play Monster Hunter World, because there has been some like times where I got close where a group of friends started playing, or the game is on discount.
Right.
But then I think back to those streams that I watch, and I'm like, no, man, that doesn't look that fun. I don't understand how people play that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And speaking of,
agreed.
Speaking of not understanding why people play shit. So I finished the storyline on Genshin Impact, the main Archon quest line.
Okay.
I did.
Okay.
Fucking amazing. It's so good.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Good.
That granted, there are some, other things that I don't necessarily agree with here and there, but that's more like a opinion kind of thing. But the delivery of the story is fucking 10 out of 10, man. So the way I would describe it is that it is a story that it doesn't have like drama to it, or it doesn't have like a big sense of urgency or a sense of seriousness or anything, because at the end of the day, it's like the story was written in a way that a child could understand and go along with, But even though the story is written in a way that it's for children, as an adult, there's still stuff that I can appreciate in there. And like, sure, it didn't blow my mind. Like, the writing didn't blow my mind, but it was consistently high quality all the time. And the voice acting, obviously 10 out of 10. Because they hire some insane voice actors for that shit. I enjoyed my time with that game. I really, really did. And I feel sad now. Now that I finished the storyline, like the only quests that are left for me are the world quests. And world quests are not voice acted. And I'm like, I can't get into them the same way that I could with the other games. It's just, that's it. It's just the voice acting. Like,
interesting.
If the quest is not voice acted, I don't care. I'm just spamming the next key all the time. But no, the second that the quest is voice acted, I just stop and listen, and I'm like, this is great. This is fucking 10 out of 10.
Yeah. Interesting.
I still think,
I don't know,
you should play Genshin. You would love this game, man. You sound like the type of person that would absolutely love the game. And now I can tell you 100% you do not need to spend money to beat the game whatsoever. This game, again, is made for fucking children, for them to beat them. You don't need to drop money on the gacha at all to get through the entire content. Literally, there's only one thing that you can't do, and that's the Spiral Abyss, which is the quote-unquote endgame. But I would be hard-pressed to call Spiral Abyss in Genshin Impact endgame. Like, hard-pressed. I would just straight up tell you, no, Genshin Impact has no endgame, because it's a single-player game that is not quite done with its story, right? And there's no endgame. It's an RPG that has a story, and then the story happens to not be completely finished just yet. But even so, like, the story has, like, every time you go into a new country, you have the story arc of that country with that country's god, and each of those are their own individual stories that do contribute to the overarching narrative. But even though the overarching narrative is not done, you can still enjoy each individual story of each individual country / god just fine. And oh my god, dude, they are so good. It's such eye candy too, all over the place, especially Inazuma, which is the third nation in there. Oh my god, so pretty. I love that stuff. But I do have a problem with the third nation, which is, it's the island nation. It's like the nation that's based on Japan. Because it's like islands, it feels very tight in terms of like exploration. Like, it's just Liyue is this big sprawling prairies and mountains of areas that you can explore, and Inazuma is like these little islands, and I'm like, I feel like claustrophobic in Inazuma when I'm trying to explore, but in Liyue, oh my god, it's so good. But yeah, no, Tuli, you have to play Genshin. You have to play the single player. Don't drop any money. You don't drop any money. You don't have to drop any money. Just play it as a single player game. My god, it's so fun.
I don't have the time to play Genshin, man.
You can literally play it on your phone.
I don't have the time.
Literally play it on your phone.
It's not about placement. All of my free time or pseudo free time is at home, but I have other things that I want to focus on than Genshin Impact. Ironically enough, I'm trying to not start too many new games right now because I have a novel I want to write and a short story I want to edit and a webcomic I want to start producing.
Webcomic?
Hey,
you have to tell me about this one.
Yeah, I can. I'll totally talk about it on stream or on the podcast. I'm really excited about it. I actually have a couple of friends who are helping me with character development and story development.
Yeah, we still have like 10 minutes
for it.
Go ahead and tell us about that.
I need an artist. Okay, well, I can do a little bit. I need an artist for it, ironically enough. I need to finish It Takes Two with Spark. I need to play Minecraft with Index. I need to play Borderlands 3 with my friends. It's like, I have a lot of people who I want to play games with, and I don't want to play Genshin Impact, so it's probably not going to happen. Anyways.
No, he did mention you Index. Sure.
So,
go ahead.
I'm a story writer by nature. I've been doing it since I was very young. My mom was a literature teacher and an English teacher. And I was homeschooled, so that was a very big part of my education, was learning how to read and write. And I fell in love with writing when I was very young. And so I've been basically writing little stories and ideas since I was probably 8 or 9 years old. And I recently came up with this idea, which I thought was interesting, as in recently, as in maybe 4 years ago, and I've kind of been fleshing it out since then, here and there. And I actually have 4 webcomic ideas, but this is the main one that I've been focused on right now, which is a sci-fi story. It is about 2 brothers, or not really brothers. They're technically not related, but they grew up in the same family. They're adopted brothers. And essentially it's super far in the future. Space colonization has already happened. And so humanity has kind of spread out throughout a section of the galaxy. Right. And there are a whole bunch of colonized planets, but basically corporations have taken everything over. Governments have mostly fallen apart. Political entities that are outside of money-making organizations don't really exist anymore. So pretty much everything is run by corporations, and there's super extreme classism where people who are under the the rule of the corporations, they're just kept there. They're not really allowed to progress or succeed. And so these 2 brothers were adopted in one of those societies where pretty much everybody in the group was, or everybody in the society was super poor and barely getting along. And they got really pissed about it and decided that they were going to become space thieves. Okay. They were going to become space pirates. And so they immediately started, basically when they were 13, just doing small time robbery and whatever they could do. All right. And the story takes place about a decade and a half later. They're maybe in their late 20s, early to mid, or I guess mid to late 20s, and they get caught. Oh, okay. And yeah, in this society, the death penalty has been completely illegalized, and so has traditional prison structures, because their morality is all about productivity. It's all about making sure that you're actually making advancements for society, right? So the idea of killing somebody who could be valuable or locking somebody up who could be doing something valuable is morally wrong to the people in charge. Okay. And so instead of that, essentially they're put under the care of an AI. How the prison system works is
I'm liking these themes that you're putting forward. All right.
Prisoners are put under the control of an AI who is then supposed to help them harness their skills, rehabilitate them into productive members of society, as well as help them produce things. And to facilitate this, they're essentially knocked out with drugs, put on a spaceship, and sent somewhere. Undeterminate. They're not told where or how long they'll be traveling. It could be 100 years before they ever get to where they're going. Usually it's to planets in the outer rim on the very edge of corporate space where they know that they won't be able to get back. So it's really interesting in the idea of these corporations basically take their criminals and just launch them off to planets. And then they're like, you're now a scientist, do science with this AI, discover new things, or die, one of the two. They don't really care as long as they're attempting to create productive people. Well, these brothers end up on this planet.
All right.
And the first arc is basically them just trying to survive because the AI that they're given, that is in charge of them is not exactly the most attentive person and doesn't send them the things that they need. So they kind of have to scramble together everything that they have to try to just barely stay alive at this point in time, where they're like trying to keep the whole, like their little tiny space home surviving, right? This planet that they're on is totally inhospitable to humans. They can't breathe the oxygen. Technically, they can breathe the air, but not for very long. It has toxic elements in it, so you can breathe the air for like a minute or two, and then you're going to start dying. And it's also like you'll get lightheaded really quickly because it's about 63% of the atmosphere of Earth in terms of density. So it's like there's not really enough there. You'll start hyperventilating, and then you'll inhale a lot of toxins and die.
All right.
Anyways, and there's a reason for that.
Let's not go too balls deep because we might be spoiling a little too much here.
Yeah.
But
so
that's
basically,
a good setup. I like it. I like.
They're stranded on this planet trying to survive with an AI that is fucking absolutely seems to go bonkers.
Will the brothers? I'll have to ask. Will the brothers eventually go back? Get out of the planet and then go back to being dealing with space travel and stuff, because I think space travel is so fun. Will. That's like my favorite thing to read about.
Yes, they will. Much later. That is arc 3. That is arc 3. Yeah, so I have 4 full arcs planned. And then I think after that fourth arc, it's the end. I think that's where I would stop
space travel shit, let me know. I love that stuff. Have you ever played Elite Dangerous by any chance?
I have not, no.
I'm a big Elite Dangerous fan, and for the people that don't know, Elite Dangerous is a space simulation or space travel simulation game where, like, Euro Trucker 2000, whatever the fuck kind of game like that.
Yeah.
Elite can be like that, but it's with like basically it's about spaceships and how they can travel and the different roles that you can take upon a spaceship. You can be a pirate, you can be a bounty hunter, you can be a merchant, you can be transportation of goods or people, etc., etc., etc. And it's a super like in-depth system for customizing your ships and whatnot. Oh my god, I love all of that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I've been thinking about putting it.
How do you feel about Star Citizen?
The thing I don't like about Star Citizen is the model that they're building the game in, right? And B, the fact that which is it's realistic, is that you can pass out if you turn too hard. Like your screen will start turning black, and I don't like that effect too much. Of like it just. Of your vision going blurry or dark when you're making a sharp turn. And I get it, momentum kind of like can fuck you up. Like that's why fighter pilots, they have to wear special suits that put pressure on their legs and other parts of other limbs so that all of their blood doesn't fucking leave them when they make a sharp turn, you know. As like I get it, it's realistic, but I don't like it as a gameplay thing. I think that it kind of like destroys the fantasy, and the game would be a lot better if it didn't have that. Also, the monetization model on Star Citizen is garbage, and they need to finish that fucking game. And I know they're never gonna do it, and I know they're never gonna fucking change that shit. So in the meantime, I'm playing Elite Dangerous.
No. I was gonna bring up the fact that I think most of the people who I know who are frustrated with Star Citizen, who play Elite Dangerous, are mad because Star Citizen is like Elite Dangerous, only it's a giant hoax. It's a giant scam that is meant to pull people in to play a bunch of like,
trials
or money to and to pay a bunch of money to get ships.
It is such a scam. Absolutely. I cannot believe. I personally know people who have spent thousands of dollars on Star Citizen ships, and to those people, I can't help but fucking facepalm every time I think about them. I'm like, motherfucker, you paid for this ship months ago. Where is it? Where's the fun? Where's your ship? Where's the game? Where's the game? You know, where's the fucking game? Now there's a bit more of the game, but like it's still like Star Citizen promises the world and gives you fucking almost nothing in return. Especially for how much it asks of its players sometimes. It is ridiculous. I don't know, man. The way I see it is, to me, Star Citizen, that game doesn't even exist in my mind. Until it's finished, it just doesn't exist. I try not to give it too much thought. Literally,
then it'll never exist.
Yeah, it will never exist.
Because it'll never be done. That's one of the games that they're never gonna have an alpha for. It's always gonna be beta. But yeah.
Oh, Coco, you're so cute.
Yeah.
No, but in the meantime,
Hallik might be the tallest one here.
No, I'm not even that tall. I'm what, 6'4"? No, that's too tall. No, that's what I'm saying. Not 6'4". I'm 5'8", I think. Sorry.
Yeah, 5'8". Yeah, you're really tall compared to the rest of us.
Yeah, I think that's like average.
Index is 5'3". I'm like 5'3" and a half.
I'm 5'8". Yeah, I'm 5'8".
5'3" and 3/4. I think I'm almost 5'4". I don't know. I need to measure my height again.
No, 6'4" is too much.
Why are you so tall?
I don't know.
Yeah. 6'4" is super tall.
Yeah, it's like basketball
6'4" is
tall.
Tinder date worthy.
Yeah.
Anyways, I think that's pretty much our time for tonight. It feels really short because it actually is.
It is short, yeah.
But
yeah, we're used to the 2-hour rant now.
Yeah. I think we're gonna call it here. So, Hallik, where can we find you?
You can find me on twitch.tv/Hallik25. I've been streaming there. Perfect. My Genshin shenanigans nonstop for the past 3 weeks. Probably when I do get bored of Genshin, I'll probably swap to Elite, because Elite Dangerous has been on my mind for a while now in terms of things that I want to stream. What about you, Tully? Where can we find you?
You can find me twitch.tv/Cthulhu Tilly. And you can find our podcast, Chatting in the Void, anywhere where podcasts are found, and on YouTube. It's been super fun to produce that and to edit that. For myself, obviously, probably join Hallik's Discord. I'm in there. I'm slowly setting up my own Discord for my stream community as well when I start to stream eventually, regularly, maybe.
Maybe when you get a part-time job instead of a full-time job.
Yeah, exactly. You can also find me on TikTok at Cthulhu Tilly, as well as Instagram at Cthulhu Tilly, and I'm going to try to produce a little bit more content there for the podcast as well. And when I do start having guests, I will probably stream on my Twitch for that as well. So I have a couple of guests, including Index, and I have a couple of friends who are also streamers. and I would love to have them on as well. And they have both, or well, a couple of them, I think more than two actually, have expressed interest in appearing on the podcast as well. Yeah. So yeah, I think
need to bring some people on
that's
the podcast
pretty much it.
Spice things up.
yeah, add some different viewpoints, add some different people. Yeah, I will start seeing if I can organize some of that and get some people in here.
All right.
All right. Well, have a wonderful night, and thank you for listening.
Thank you, nerds. See ya later.
Yeah. Bye-bye. We appreciate you listening to Chatting in the Void with Cthulhu, Tilly, and Hallik. You can find a video version of our podcast on YouTube and our audio podcast anywhere where podcasts are found. Go give Hallik a follow at twitch.tv/Hallik25 and catch our podcast live at 7 p.m. EST every other Saturday. Have a wonderful day, or night, or whatever. Thank you for joining us in the Void. Hope to see you next time.